Alright, least to most, the Harry Potter movies. And as you can no doubt guess, Goblet of Fire is my least favorite. For a multitude of reasons. Starting with one, there is so much left out of the book. Like, ridiculously. This is the worst from an adaptation standpoint. And as a standpoint, to be honest, it kind of seems like it doesn't really know what it wants to be. Like, one second there's like this really cringy comedy in it, and then the next it's like drama alert, like with Hermione and Ron's whole thing, which somehow is worse than it was in the book. And then there's like dark and serious. And the book does this a lot better, but the film clearly just can't hang with the book. Also, they kind of just gloss over Fleur Delacour being this Vila or Vela or however you pronounce it. Like, it never gets brought up that she's part of a magical race of women. And oh my god, no Vila at the World Cup or leprechauns. You had a chance to show leprechauns in your Magical World movie and you didn't. Of course, the Quidditch World Cup was terrible, and the action scenes in this are really bad, especially that extended dragon chase thing. That was so stupid. And they don't even explain the Brother Wands effect, which was hugely important in the books. But, okay. I see how it is. Next! Half-Blood Prince. You shouldn't be surprised that Goblet of Fire and Half-Blood Prince are my least favorite films. Half-Blood Prince had two main things. Set up Harry's relationship going into the final book and after the series was over, and set up the backstory of Voldemort. And it fails at both of those, in my opinion. Yeah, sure, Ginny and Harry get together, but they don't really do anything. Like, I can kind of see where people come from when they talk about Harry and Ginny shouldn't have ended up together. From the perspective of watching the movies. If you only watched the movies and you didn't read the books, I can understand why you find it impossible to believe that Harry and Ginny end up together. And Half-Blood Prince, the movie, supports that narrative, in my opinion. Ginny's a know-nothing character in the films, but especially in the one where she's supposed to take a center stage. And the Hermione and Ron stuff with Lavender Brown and all of that just dragged this movie on and made it so hard to watch those scenes. And they failed to really set up Voldemort's backstory or the Horcruxes. It's like, we don't get to learn anything about how he discovered Hufflepuff's cup or Slytherin's locket. We don't get that Pensier, or however you pronounce it, scene. And there's just a ton of stuff that was just taking out of this movie in favor of, honestly, a lot of scenes that weren't even in the books. Yeah, this... And they completely cut out the big final battle at the end of the book at Hogwarts between the Death Eaters and the Order of the Phoenix. Why? This movie has no climax. Deathly Hallows Part 2. I don't know if people are going to be upset or offended that I don't like Deathly Hallows Part 2 and that I placed it lower on the tier than Part 1. But to be honest, first of all, the final battle at the end of this one sucks. You can barely see what's going on half the time. All the characters just running. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are just running through the battle, and we don't really focus on anything. Really, after the Gringotts break it. This movie just takes a nosedive, in my opinion. Uh, I don't. The final duel between Harry and Voldemort in the film somehow is so dull and more lame than how it happens in the books. And spoiler for the books, I guess. But in the final book, Harry and Voldemort basically, when they have their final showdown, they walk in a circle around each other, and Harry explains why Voldemort can't kill anyone because, Harry sacrificed himself. He explains the whole Snape thing, and then they do an Expelliarmus and Avada Kedavra shot at each other, and boom, it's over. Voldemort's dead, laying on the ground. There's his body. He's dead, officially. In the movie, for some reason, they just have his body, break down and turn into, this ash substance, and it's how do they prove that Voldemort's officially completely dead now? It was just weird how they decided to do that. And this movie was just blah. No Dumbledore backstory either. Okay. Oh. Yes, I like Deathly Hallows Part 1 more than Order of the Phoenix. Now, why I like Order of the Phoenix more than any of the previous ones is for several reasons. I feel like it's better paced. The acting is somewhat better in this one. And they do give Harry and Sirius some non-canon scenes, technically, I guess you could say. But they do flesh out the relationship of, oh yeah, Sirius really is like a father to Harry. So that when he dies at the end, it's more of an impact, in my opinion. While the final big battle in the Department of Mysteries wasn't good, per se, the Voldemort and Dumbledore duel was amazing. That beats the action in all of the movies combined. Seriously, that was the height of Harry Potter magical battles. And it's kind of sad that the series never evolved after that. I did not like how they did the prophecy, though. They seriously downgraded that. And furthermore, it's a massive plot hole that when Harry picks up the orb, it just starts reading out the prophecy, and it's like, how did the Death Eaters not hear that? There's some stuff to hate about this and some stuff not to hate. Although on the one hand, Dolores Umbridge's actress gave a perfect performance, in my opinion. Deathly Hallows Part 1. Okay. The Tale of the Three Brothers, how they decided to do that, was amazing. And I love that they chose to do that little animation thing as Hermione's reading the story. Although Emma Watson's delivery when she's reading the story is kind of bleh. And Part 1 gets bonus points in comparison to Part 2 for being more faithful to the book, in my opinion. Now, honestly, I'm kind of regretting my decision to make this have a better spot than Order of the Phoenix now. They are so close, in my opinion, because of some stuff. Whenever these actors or actresses try to act angry or upset, it just doesn't work for me. Like Ron's and Harry's confrontation and Ron leaving and all of that did not really work for me in the movies as well as it did in the books. That said, there's a lot to like, in my opinion, except for the whole Malfoy Manor bit. But it has Luna in it and all of that, which was a bonus for me. And it had Dobby's death, which despite how much they cut of him from the rest of the films, it somehow did have an impact But of course, that might be because I read the books. I don't know. It's kind of hard to justify for me which is better, Order of the Phoenix or Deathly Hallows Part 1. If I did this a month from now, I would probably say Order of the Phoenix is better than Part 1. But I do think Part 1 of Deathly Hallows is better than Part 2. Genuinely. Alright. Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, as its actual name is and I'm probably going to get some flack for saying this, the most faithful to the books. It sets up everything. And it does it right. From book 1. And I honestly have to say this. I like Chamber of Secrets and Philosopher's Stone's Dumbledore actor more than the guy they replaced him with when he died. I'm just saying. I like him more. I think he's a better Dumbledore. The ending of this, the climax, is better than the climax of most of the other films. This book does get some credit for, in my opinion, for actually referencing that you're not supposed to say Voldemort's name. Yeah, the other books kind of just gloss over that and forget about it for some reason. Well, the rest of the films. Sorry. It's been a long day, and I'm recording this at like 8:30 at night. There's honestly not a lot of bad to say about the first film. Yeah, the child acting is child acting, but of course it's going to be. And honestly, retrospectively looking back on it and rewatching it, it wasn't as bad as I made it out to be or others did. So, honestly, it's a pretty solid film because it actually follows the plot of the books. Now, this is controversial, probably. Prisoner of Azkaban is widely considered by many to be the best of the Harry Potter films. Is it the best directed? Probably. Does it have the best cinematography? Yeah. Does it have the best acting? Yes. Sort of. Because Gary Oldman's in it. However, the real major main problem with Prisoner of Azkaban is its plot makes no sense. They cut so much from the books. Like, keep in mind, in this film, it is never actually established that Sirius, Remus, Peter, and James were the Marauders. Yeah, it's never actually established. Then they have to do this massive info dump in the Shrieking Shack scene to explain why Snape hated the Marauders and why the Marauders hated Snape and the whole big thing around Lupin and all of that. Even though this was already all pretty much set up in the books before the Shrieking Shack scene happens. They just sort of reference it, and Snape's like, that's not actually what happened, and all that crap. And the Whomping Willow action scene, where Hermione and Harry are getting attacked by the Whomping Willow, is, in my opinion, the worst non-canon action scene that is added to the films. That didn't happen in the books. Crookshanks just runs up and freezes the tree. That's it. I still love Prisoner of Azkaban, the film, and the book, but it leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. And that's why Chamber of Secrets, as you can probably guess by now, is my favorite film. First reason, it's the second most faithful to the book that it's adapting. That's the first reason. Second reason, the freaking basilisk looks cool. Even now it does. there's not a lot of cringy moments in this one, at least compared to the other films. Gilderoy Lockhart's actor is amazing, though I wish they had more Gilderoy Lockhart scenes in the official release, probably. But for what they do have, it's serviceable. The action's more well done. The comedy is decent, and it's the only time where Dobby actually gets to be Dobby. Let's be honest, he doesn't get to be Dobby in any of the other films. It's this film that movie watchers, people who only watch the movies, remember Dobby for. The Rogue Bludger scene was great. I love that. The music's real good, especially the Voldemort reveal. Although it is in Philosopher's Stone, but I like it better in Chamber of Secrets. And we get Tom Riddle backstory, unlike in Half-Blood Prince. Although Gryffindor's sword looks kind of stupid, but hey, what are you gonna do? So yeah, that's my least to most of the Harry Potter films. So thanks for watching this. When you do, subscribe if you want. Don't forget to give yourselves a big thumbs up.